Hello, lunatics. We have an incredible new moon in Capricorn. It's happening on January the 18th and is forming a little triangle that is lucky, auspicious, and positive, meaning that something good is trying to happen in this new beginning, in this fresh start, in the sign of the Seago, the sign of Capricorn. And embedded within the moon, conjunct this lunation, are two asteroids, Diana, the huntress, and also Astrea, the Star Maiden. In some area of our life, we want to start anew and we want to be open to the possibilities of aiming for what we want, like a hunter or a huntress, going for it, taking aim, getting on the hunting dog path and moving forward. And at the same time, Astrea is the last goddess of the Mountain Olympian pantheon who stuck around to help humanity. She can represent the urge we all have to do something good for the human species, good for the collective, but also Astrea brings us in touch with our own inner star and stardom. Whether you're the star of your local community, your local, book club, your local anything, or whether you're a big star on the world stage, this energy is highlighted in the reset button in the sign of Capricorn. We are also, of course, going to feel some incredible surprises coming off of this moon. I say, of course, because it is in a very, very interesting, very tight trine to the god of surprise, the god of the unexpected, the tower moment, the shock and awe, Uranus. And so we'll talk about how Uranus trining this moon and how that energy piles up as a kind of kinetic explosion of something new. And also how Neptune and Saturn also sextile the moon. And that makes that little triangle. And it's very interesting and very powerful. So we're going to talk about it in depth for the world, but also for your sign. Now, if you're new here, hi, my name is Lori Lothian. I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac. And a lot of you know that I love those good old fixed stars and minor asteroids. And we've got those minor asteroids in the tail today. We're going to be also talking some side stories as well, because the asteroid Atlantis is playing out a big deal in our sky as this week or two unfolds after January 18th. We'll see what Atlantis has to tell us. A very interesting asteroid conjunct Pluto. Now, or Venus actually, and Pluto. Now, one thing I want to say is that if you're wanting to use astrology as a navigational tool to time your best life, you might want to check out a few things. One, I have 2026 All Signs bundles for sale right now, and you can get the information on how to purchase that product in my description box underneath this video. And if you want to buy the 12 videos, that's more than 24 hours of predictive content, one 2 plus hour video for each sign, and a PDF guidebook, or just buy your sign for $22. It's all in the description box below. Connect to the description box under the video and find out more. And let's get going and talk about this particular moon. Now, it's an interesting moon. It's at 28 degrees and 43 minutes of the sign of Capricorn. And if you want to add up 28, right? 2 and 8 is 10, and 4 and 3 is 17. And what is 17? It's the sun card in the tarot. And in that regard, I think that you're going to find that, again, the star card in the tarot, sorry. And I think you're going to find the element of the Star Maiden conjunct a moon at the number 17, the same number of the star, brings the archetype of that to life in a way that we won't normally encounter, star energy. And there's more than being famous when it comes to the star energy in the tarot. It's a card of healing, of connecting with your guides, of really coming into a new place of inner life perspective. And so following your star, of course. And so we're going to talk a bit about how that moon might work for the world. Now, one thing I would say is that sometimes the sky is cartoonishly literal. And we have a lot of activation with Venus right now and Icarus. I'll show it to you. Icarus is like something falling from the heights, get too close to the sun and your wings melt and you fall from the sky. A female, a power or celebrity who might be a star may have her wings melt, and she might fall from the sky, fall from power, fall from fame, fall from glory. That's possible under this very cartoonish way of looking at it. But I often see that life is like a cartoon and things are very specifically like literal. And so I think we could see some female celebrity or powerful person falling from power. Oh, and I even forgot to put my earrings on today. But having a day, let me pretend I was going to actually make a video with all my jewelry on. And, there's some people who are flying high to the sun who could fall, right? Who are females in the news cycle right now, pushing the boundaries in lots of ways, right? Especially over the CK unaliving episode in September. So you're going to see me doing a lot of code words here, unfortunately, because I had to take down 3 times. I tried to edit my top predictions astrologically and intuitively for 2025. And I had to put that stuff on Patreon because each time I tried to put it back up, I got a demonetization flag for a sensitive topic. So what does YouTube consider sensitive? Anything to do with tragedy, death, WAR, sensitive topics that might upset somebody. And when they don't describe what sensitive is, you can't talk about things that cause people to pow out and stuff. You can't talk about the unaliving anymore at all. You can't talk about WAR anymore here. You can't do that here, okay? It's not that I don't like to do world astrology, but yeah, apparently advertisers don't want you to talk about that because their brand will be associated with difficult topics. And I guess that makes sense. So unless I'm going to be sponsored by other people fully, then this channel is a monetized channel for my living. So if you want to get more world astrology, go over to my Substack, Pluto Chronicles, where I write unabated, unplug about whatever I want. And to some degree on my join button here, I have a little bit more freedom, although I'm still not sure that they're not scanning videos for members only, and they're going to shadow ban me here. And I know a channel just recently who got shadow banned, and they were even using all the code words, okay, that you should use not to get, flagged. And so I just don't think it's worth it, guys. So if you want more world astrology, please go to Substack. I mean, it's just not me. It's the platform's problem. Okay, so it's free over at Substack as well. And there's no ads, all right? For the world astrology. Okay, you have to pay for the all sign stuff over there. All right, so I'm going to show you the sky. I'm going to tell you what I think about the sky. I'm going to broadly try to talk in code speak about anything to do with world events that look like I could just get away with it. And then we're going to go ahead and do your sign. I'm recording this ahead of the curve. January 7th, my Patreon community gets this early access ad-free, and you guys get it later on. If you like this kind of content one way or the other, I don't care. You can join me on Patreon, but like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell and help this channel grow. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. Well, that's not what I'm talking about. That's just my Zoom thing. Let me pull up the actual astrology chart and tell you what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. This is the sky. And you'll see a blue triangle, and the blue triangle is what it is called a miniature grand trine. It's made up of harmonious flowing aspects. Blue lines are flow. This longer blue line is called a trine, and that is the nature of Jupiter, which brings luck, growth, opportunity, and expansion, and represents 120 degree separation. And this little blue lines are sextiles, the nature of Venus, ease, grace, flow as well. And that also is representing a 60 degree separation on a wheel of 360 degrees. Now, this little capstone-like thing is very powerful because it tends to bring a place in our lives where we experience a measure of grace, a measure of things just falling into place. Opportunities open, doors open, things happen fortuitously. Circumstantially, things are moving with also synchronicity here. Your synchronicity, why? Mercury, the Lord of synchronicity, is also involved in this Capricorn stellium anchored by the new moon. The new moon in Capricorn is accompanied, as I mentioned, by the asteroids that I want to talk about. So this is the asteroid Diana right here. It looks like the letter D. She's kind of got 2 hunting dogs. She's independent, unmarried, feminine huntress. She's got her brother Apollo. He's like the god of healing and prophecy and even plagues. But Apollo is her brother, a sun god, and she's the sister. And she's literally going to be the huntress in you, right? Where you have a bow and arrow and you hit the hunting trails and you have your trusty dogs beside you. And maybe you even have a good old falcon or an owl and a bird of prey on your shoulder, usually white. And you know how to get what you want in life. It's that simple. She is a divine feminine archetype. Now, you're also going to see on the other side of this moon is Astrea, the Star Maiden. I'll read the Star Maiden to you here. Oh, they don't discuss her here. Why would they not have her in the software when I can? Darn it, guys. I apologize about that. But she is okay. A bunch of gods and goddesses of Mount Olympus abandon humanity and decide to take off. That's probably because basically they shifted from the visual field dimensional realm into the invisible realm and decided that we weren't that interesting anymore after we had been carved into a slave race and genetically modified. and they left. But she stuck around. She felt she wanted to help humanity. What part of you wants to be a star maiden to help humanity, to guide humanity, to be a part of the betterment of humanity? And where can you also just be a star? Why not? Be a star in your world somehow, some way. There also is the element here of Hestia, the hearth fire goddess of the flame, of the kitchen fire, your stove, your oven, your easy bake oven, your fireplace. But she's also Vesta, it's the same goddess, two different names, Roman and Greek. And the Vestal goddess, Roman is Vesta and Hestia is Greek, is the sacred devotion priestess archetype. You'll notice something going on. It's very feminine. Diana, the huntress and the independent female, the Star Maiden, a female Astrea, female Star Maiden, and a maiden, and then also Hestia, the sacred flame of devotion, but which represents the Vestal Virgin, the archetype of the divine feminine, sacred priestess, unmarried, unwed, unbound, deciding to work in a sacred service, sacrifice, actually. The Vestal Virgins had to stay in a unmarried temple life, keeping the Vestal flame of the Pax Romana, the Roman peace, alive. But also they were dedicated to this from ages 6 to, I think, 36. And then they were freed to be a normal citizen of Rome. And these Vestal Virgin women were also given high honors and stature of being able to wander the streets without a male escort, to be able to own land, which was not an available status for women in ancient Rome. So they were very venerated and honored for their sacred duty service to the collective. So I'm going to really narrow it down to where in our lives are we being opened up to the idea, I don't care if you're a guy, of wanting to create a devotion, a sacred duty, to light a fire of something that's more important than you, to open up a door to the honoring and the betterment and the service of humanity. Well, you can also open up doors of your own inner starlight to the world, and you're going to go hunting to take aim and make it so. That's how I see that energy for all of us, male or female. Mercury gives us synchronicities, emails, phone calls, texts, and messages, all right, that allow for us to be able to receive the information we need in the wake or the aftermath of this moon. Look to the moon as it unfolds a day or two before, as the moon is going completely dark, and then look especially to the 2 weeks that follow, the January 18th lunation, which in my time zone of Vancouver, Canada, is happening pretty close to noon on that day, all right? Back in the back end here, we have Ixion and Volcano. I've talked about this in a video already or two. I also wrote about it at Substack. I am concerned that this is a volcanic energy to do with earthquakes and shaking earth. It doesn't help that Algol, even though there is a flow energy to this moon, is in a place of a star of difficulty. Algol can be where Uranus sits about mass graves or corpses or rotting bodies. So there can be a there may be a climate event. That's not the word I want. An event that involves the earth, disruptions to the earth, shaking of the earth. So we're going to say earthquake, right? There could be a very big earthquake. I had 2 dreams already, maybe 3, about an earthquake, and one was specifically pointing to the Pacific coast. All right. Stefan Burns, who's a geophysicist on YouTube, go check his channel out, also flagged the same situation and put a warning flare out. I wrote about this on Substack a few days ago as well, just from the astrology, but he's also got some concerns about the sun and the behavior of the sun and the things that are going on in the earth, like geomagnetics and earth tectonics and stuff like that. It's also possible with volcano, it could be a volcano, like literally an eruption of a volcano. Volcano is also this particular body here, connected to the husband of Venus, and is the armorer of the gods, the weapon maker for Zeus, the thunderbolts of Zeus. And over here, you're seeing this Ixion, which is like the Red Wedding in the Game of Thrones. It's about this guy, this centaur, the king of the Lapis, sorry, who breaks all the rules and basically unalives his father-in-law, and then goes after Zeus's wife. By the way, both complete violations of the common way that people considered you should act, right? That when you invite your father-in-law to dinner, I think it was at a wedding, you don't, unalive your father-in-law, and then you also don't go to have Zeus's pardon for your crimes, and then go after his wife Hera. So the whole story is treachery and uncivil behavior connected to thunderbolts of Zeus, the maker of those weapons. And there's only one world leader who has this energy, Hephaestus Volcano, on his midheaven. And his first letter of his name is N. He's a prime minister from a nation way off in the Middle East. And it's very possible there'll be some pretty interesting news stories going on about that before the new moon, and maybe during the moon and after the new moon. And I say unfortunately because it's probably not good news. Alrighty, now, you could say that the thunderbolts of Zeus in modern world days could be Drones, or could also be the thing that starts with M that flies through the air like a kinetic device, like an archer's arrow, just like Diana is prone to shoot here. Even though I'm telling you that this triangle is positive, my experience is that in world events, it doesn't really mean that. In our lives, it gives us doors of opportunity, flow, ease, and grace. And even though that's true still, in the world, we may see things unfolding that look to the world to be difficult. So there's a woman named Candace O, and Candace O has her Mercury right here where Uranus is sitting. Her Mercury is around 29 degrees of the sign of Taurus. And then there's another woman named Erika K, and she has her Mercury opposite Candace O's Mercury at the tail end of Scorpio. And both of those women's news cycles and communications stories are going to be highlighted by this triangle here in some very fundamental way. Look for breaking news stories on this story of both of these females. More truly does it bind the positive flow to the Mercury of Candace O, allowing for this triangle to bring something uplifting or important or significant to the story. And we're going to also notice, and I'm not going to do much deep dive on it, but I will bring it to bear, that Jupiter is currently tracking beside, as he retrogrades, also the retrograde Pythia, the Oracle of Delphi. So those are people who pronounce the future. Okay, people who make statements of oracular divinatory prophecy or oracle speak, right? And that energy is also squaring Chiron. And I don't know what that's going to be, but it can be a devastating moment in which there's a prophecy that comes true that's very difficult for the world to digest, because Chiron is a wound in the sign of war. And that would unfold sometime in a couple of weeks, perhaps close to or after the moon. And more intriguing to me is, what the heck is this? Now, this is not a part of the moon, right? It's completely a different story. It's off on the sidelines, but it's worth noting our sky is filled with this energy. A female connected to Arwan. This is the Welsh king who had a vision of a utopia. Everybody's healthy, everybody's wealthy, everybody's well. It's a utopian vision ideal for the world, enough food for all. And there's a female, there's Icarus falling from the sky, melting wings from places of heights of power. And this particular asteroid is Hylonome, and she's devastated and heartbroken and bereft when her partner Silius dies. And so there's a story of the grieving feminine. So what is this? I do not know. It will be interesting to find out, because it will likely involve the word female. A female is Venusian, who has wealth, power, and stature, Pluto. And why is Atlantis wedged in here? For goodness sakes, I do not know. Could also be that you're going to see that there's some shaking ground and we uncover lost civilization territory underneath the aftermath of an earthquake or a tidal wave or something calamitous. And then we would look at Atlantis as Atlantis was flooded, right? Supposedly the lost city of Atlantis was flooded. Some people think it might be part of the Azores off of Portugal. But whatever it is, there may be an uncovering of more information about that myth. And maybe the Arwan asteroid is also how that was maybe a utopian civilization before it befell a calamity and fell into the ocean or sunk under the ocean or whatever you want to call it. This is just a fascinating stellium because eventually, Mercury and Mars will also move into the sign of Aquarius. And that's going to be an interesting time to watch how this progresses. Just for fun, let's progress it. You'll notice that these things are going to move forward. And this is like 2 weeks after. Now I'm in February 1st. And if you want to say breathtaking, February 1st, look at that stellium in the sign of Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius rising, guys. Holy man. But, these minor asteroids are still here. The stories are here. Atlantis is still here. Atlantis may be coming to light closer to when Mercury and Atlantis are co-joined. So if I go back in time and you see the story of Mercury conjunct Atlantis, we're talking about January 25th. It could be possible that January 25th or 26th, the word Atlantis is important in the mythology of the world. We have a world leader or a person in power falling from power, not necessarily female here, just male, sun Icarus, like the third week of January, close to this will be like the 22nd, 23rd, 24th. Because I want to say, if I look at, let's take it back a bit. Ready? Put these on your calendar because Mercury will bring the news stories, right? January 23rd, we have Pluto, Sun, Icarus, news, death of a world leader. That would be an easy one. Okay. Joe Biden is not doing well, I'm sure. King Charles has also got some health challenges, but either stepping down from power or death of a world leader, I could see some of that right here. And you can also see that Mars is going to be moving closer to Pluto, and we'll feel that energy January 23rd. And then Mars-Pluto is very explosive, very difficult world stories around January 27th. And we still have the world leader, wings melting, falling from the sky energy. So that can be the kind of loss of life of maybe a political figure or a leader figure or a solar figure of some kind, a well-known person. And that could be almost dovetailing or presaging or a premonition of the February 17th eclipse, also conjunct Mars in the sign of Aquarius. So, but already we can see something as close as January 27th from this conjunction, maybe about a 3 days before and a 3 days after. And that can look like what Mars tends to do, right? Mars tends to do things that involve pow-pows and stuff like that. Okay. And so I'm going to leave it that simply, not to be demonetized on this video. It's a pain in the ass when they do that, because then I tried to find out what I have to remove. They can't tell me specifically. They don't go like at 8 minutes and 20 seconds, sensitive topic. And then I've got all this thing recorded for you guys and I can't put it out and it's exhausting. So, and when you're demonetized, then they shadow ban you on top of it. They don't like it. So I stopped the demonetization from happening by stopping the scan before they finish the video. But quite often, if you don't and they go, we can't monetize this, then in the 2 to 3 weeks after, your videos start to sink. They kind of put you under a spell of no one can see you really. All right, so let's go ahead and start with Aries. We're going to move through the sky. The key point is the mini trine. Where do you want to be a star? Where do you want to have a sacred devotion and duty to something larger than yourself? Where are you ready to take aim to achieve that in this new beginning with some exciting, exhilarating, electric jolts of change and surprise with Uranus, as well as Neptune, Saturn, visions and things come true. Neptune, Saturn at the very end of Pisces for the last time in a lifetime that you're going to have that. It takes Neptune, 164 years to get back to Pisces. And Saturn is only there every 30. So we've lived through 3 years of Saturn and Neptune and Pisces. Is it real? Is it Memorex? Is it a deep fake? That's the deep fake stuff. Is it, AI confusing us? What's real and what's not real? Is that photo real? Is that video real? Now, we already used to like really stupid AI channels, and we know they're AI. We can tell on YouTube because they always say stupid things like, it's always talk in double negatives. It's always like, and it always has to alliterate. And it really drives me crazy. And it's like, not only this is a moon for stardom, but I can't even do it. It's so dumb. Not only does it mean completion, but correction or whatever, in these ways that AI loves to contrast and alliterate, and it's annoying. This is a real person channel, so please honor the real people here and hype the video. A new feature is hype. I think YouTube added hype so that it could distinguish real people from AI or something. But instead of just liking, subscribing, there's a hype button. You may have to wait till the end of a video watch. I don't know if that's true to click hype. I'll have to do some research. But if you want to hype the video, that helps the channel grow too. And let's get started with Aries and move through the zodiac together. And I think I'll draw a card for everyone as well as the astrology. And we will start with Aries, guys. I know it's always first. We always get to go first, don't we, Aries? But there's a method to my madness. I do these premieres, and quite often people are in the premiere. I take your questions, and as I mean a live premiere, I mean like a pre-recorded, and I'm in the chat. I'm going to start doing a live stream, and I'm putting a poll out on my YouTube section where I'm asking people what kind of live streams they prefer. I'll probably do like a weekly live stream to change the format up a bit and have some more fun and get to know people in a live chat mode. But that's coming shortly. Give me some time to prepare. Here we have Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. And oh, guys, I'm one of you. I have my sun in Aries, and I have my moon in Aries, and my Mercury in Aries. So I'm one of you. Here we have this guy, and we better move ourselves back to the right date. That would be good. The 18th. I don't know how it's going to feel to be me in February with that stellium, Aquarius rising. Rising signs. Okay, let me go through that with you guys. If you're listening for your rising sign, it's your simulation avatar. And it's the character you play, the mask, the character, the combination of what you look like, your personality, all of that. If you're listening for your sun sign, it's the actor who plays the role in the movie. It's a game player in the sim. It's the real you, but it's also your purpose and career focus. And if you're listening for your moon sign, it has a lot to do with your actual emotions and feelings and thinkings about your being, like you're mopey about your life or you love your life, but also it's your home and your nest and where you live and your domicile, in other words. And so you often find moon readings, like I always joke, but it's not so funny. Every 9 years I get a particular eclipse to my moon, south or north node eclipses, and I tend to be having significant moves on those cycles, right? So when your moon is eclipsed, when a moon is in eclipse, you're going to move, right? Eclipsing the moon, eclipsing your home, or eclipsing your mother, or a relationship to your mother, or eclipse your son, your career, so eclipse your son, your dad. See you later, dad. So there's stuff like that. It's very literal in the sky. All right, now here we have it. We're starting off with Aries. That was the intention. We're starting off with Aries. Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. I don't know, guys. It's an interesting moon for us because it's in the top of the sky, which is very much the visible part of the work world. This is like we're on the top of high noon up here. Everyone sees us doing our career. Everyone sees us doing our like work and livelihood. It's very much the public face of our career, what visibly we do in this world. And so we all of a sudden have a new beginning and a fresh start. Something is changing. Something is wanting to reset here. And it's going to reset in a way that's once in a lifetime. Why? Because once in a lifetime, can it do this with Uranus flowing to the reset button and also with the energy of the Pisces mini triangle. So this once in a lifetime, I think I blew the lead on the video. I should have been saying once in a lifetime mini grand trine opens up doors of new opportunity. I'll probably have to re-record the intro. And to me, the new beginning, fresh start feels a lot like it doesn't work unless we are tending a sacred hearth fire, unless there's a flame of devotion, unless there's something we actually care about. And Mars will say, make a decision and take an action will get you started in a new direction. Although to be clear, Mars is invisible until mid-March. So even though you may be choosing and planning and strategizing, thank you to Mercury ideas and Mars actions and decisions, you may not actually fully flesh out the new direction until after mid-March. But you can see that the moon is seeding something fresh and something new. And Mars exalted with this new moon, right? In one of his superpower forms, will often have us change direction, not by what we add, but what we eliminate, what we cut away. So you might be cutting or ending part of your work, quitting your job. Yeah. Quitting the type of work. Sure. Resigning from a path of career professional directions. Yes. It also brings you a lot of exciting stamina, like a kind of I've got this. I'm like, Mars is funny here. He's like, I've got this. You trust me because I can make you work your ass off with discipline, perseverance, and drive to achieve something. You're going to say, well, when? It just in January 18th? Well, sure. Absolutely. In the couple weeks that follow the moon, you might be working with drive, determination, and stamina. But the lunation is baking in this determination. Okay, baking in that willpower, baking in that stamina and drive, Mars and Capricorn. And especially because it bakes in the activation of Saturn. So every new moon has a fulfillment arc of 6 months, okay, of stamina, perseverance, discipline, and hard work to achieve a new career reset. And the highest promise, the Star Maiden, is you could become well known, quite celebrity, quite successful at something that you're devoted to offering the world, taking aim like the huntress and knowing what you're aiming for. I love the shocking surprise of this Uranus on Algol, for it is a wealth star as well in a wealth house, a money house. And there is an indication of some surprising, exciting, exhilarating flashpoints of success financially in this moon's storyline, as well as connections to far off lands, people, and places, including money you generate from those foreign lands and places. Alrighty. You can generate that money because you are working in it for an international agency, you live in another country or land than the one in which you're born, but you're making money there, or you are like me and make digital income and revenue borderless income from people around the world just using payment processors, credit cards, Stripe, etc. That's another exciting story. So there's a lot going on here that looks like a breakthrough energy, and finances connected to career changes for you. And the last thing I want to say is Mercury brings news, and often proximate news. So I want you to think about what might be going on the moon on January the 18th. Around that time, he's only 2 degrees off the lunation, but the moon will cross over Mercury. So look for any information or news that comes to you in about, well, the same day actually, but also with Mercury, I say up to 2 days before the new moon. Okay. And certainly within 2 weeks after, but exciting information or news. Watch for your phone calls, text messages, and emails. See what comes up, see what you're getting to give you the clues to what this moon is really about. Okay, we're moving into the next story. Oh, and a card for every, I'm not going to flash me in and out of this picture. It's just too much work. But I do have a lovely deck called Tarot of the Divine. I've had it for years. And I'm just going to draw a card for you. And I got, fell right out. It's called the Ace of Coins. What does it mean? Money, honey. New beginnings, new prosperity. Prosperity begins. You're on a path to new prosperity somehow, some way, but it is connected to your career. All right. It is connected to your livelihood. And with the South Node moving through your 6th house, there's an indication that you're probably letting go of certain aspects of the work you do in order to jumpstart something new and something exciting. And it is once in a lifetime. Let's move into the next sign and see what we have for Taurus. Whoa. Hey, Taurus, how does it feel to be in a very beautiful, gorgeous trine energy from earth to earth? You are the earth sign. You are flowing to this stellium in Capricorn. And this is a good time for you. This January 18th moon is a new seed and a new beginning that you're willing to receive. It could bring you opportunities for higher education, foreign land travel, new purpose around career, sussed out by human resources departments or headhunters for new job opportunities. There's something going on about aligning with a deeper spiritual purpose and a spiritual philosophy in life. If you don't have one, you might have a new start meditating daily, start reading spiritual books, start going to spiritual community settings, churches, mosques, whatever. Some of you might really hit a new direction of devotion, the sacred flame, the temple priestess, to a new spiritual path. And this is a once in a lifetime activation. It's ideal for any Tauruses in the book publishing industry. And you could see new levels of success wanting to show up for you here as well. Drive, determination, ambition, stamina, and perseverance can be here for anything that you're working on that increases the gains of your career, specifically over time with like a kind of, what do you call it? Like a long tail arc. You're not trying to get flash in the pan, get rich quick career gains. No, 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 no. Saturn has finished it up 3 years here. You've been working hard to make career gains work, right? Your 11th house of the gains of the 10th. Sometimes it felt hard, compressed. Maybe you worked really hard to get any gains that you did have. But now you've got the North Node increase and Neptune, your dreams and wishes come true in the way you earn money and receive rewards from your career, and in some of the long range goals and plans and dreams you have for your life and your career at the same time. I do want to say that you need to have a sacred devotion to anything you're doing at this time. And you might be surprised by finding new directions in your professional career, strategies and gains that surprise you because you didn't think that was your cup of tea. Like you're like, me do that? I didn't see that coming. That's outside of the box. I'm coloring way outside my lines. Who am I anyway? Fret not, for it looks like you might be somebody pivoting in exhilarating, exciting, and rule-breaking ways into new career paths and new ways to earn money from your career. And I love that Venus in the 10th house, ruler of the work house, okay, is talking about the same story. There's a lot of overlap in the sky. Well, is it just me or is it hot in here? Just because it's, to me, suddenly feels like it's 1,000 degrees, we're opening the window. I think it is 1,000 degrees in here. Now, guys, one thing you might want to pay attention to, and there's no pressure here, okay, is you really might want to pay attention to the idea that you are aiming for a new level of wealth and power in your career. And you might feel like your wings have melted in a direction you've already taken. I want you to consider, like, if the work you've already been doing is not your dream job, not your dream career, your wings have melted. You feel like you're like literally like, falling from the sky, success, the price of success, the gilded cage, maybe something like that. I want you to know that something new and something better is coming into the story. A new moon, a new seed, a new beginning. Take aim, find the place of devotion, help humanity, be a star in your alignment with purpose and dharma. And you'll see that in the 6 months that follows, if you take the alignment I'm asking you to think about, am I feeling like a sacred devotional duty? Does this better humanity? Can I support humanity? Can I be a earnest star here? Can I be a huntress taking aim at for what I actually want? Then you're going to succeed. And Saturn brings it all back to the 11th house of career gain. So no matter what I say, even a devotional meditation, spiritual practice will help you solidify your career gains in some way. And it wouldn't be too shabby if you wanted to pursue travel internationally. And it can be that international travel could also take on forms like a pilgrimage. Mars rules your 12th house of spiritual moksha. He's determined to get on the road again and travel somewhere and take an adventure to a far off land. And Mercury is a protector of travelers to far off places. And any of you who want to travel abroad in the 6 months that follows this, I encourage you to do so. However, for some of you, even with the sun ruling the 4th house, you may be propelled in the wake of this moon 2 weeks after, maybe up to 6 months after, because, the urgent new direction is starting in like 2 to 3 weeks after the moon, but up to 6 months later, some of you might move your home to another country. Okay. Oops. And a card for you from the Divine Tarot. So we have the Ace of Pentacles for new prosperity, new money starts for you, Aries. What about the Taurus bulls of the world? You are the Queen of Swords. Okay. Discernment. Okay. Activating discernment in your career, or a woman opens up career opportunities for you professionally. So look for career opportunities from a female, maybe a female friend. Venus is the exaltation lord of your friends, opens a door of career opportunity for you coming off the 2 to 3 weeks after the moon, or you open up your discernment, to kind of like make a decision based on a kind of mental clarity, right? To slice through things with mental clarity, to know what it is you wish to choose in the career path. Here's that once in a lifetime amazing moon that's new in Capricorn for you, Gemini, sun, moon, and rising. I want you to think about chunky money. I want you to think about an inheritance, spousal support agreements, selling a property, a stock investment that takes off, chunks of money, royalty income, Google ad money, just money coming in a chunk that's not like a dollars per hour salary wage paycheck. And that kind of money is having a new beginning and a fresh start. Now, there's a lot going on there because Mars and Mercury together can be very much business and commercial success, but it's also in business partnerships in this regard. So maybe also you'll be aligning yourself, venture capital, business partnerships could work very well for you. Now, if you're looking at spousal support and inheritance money, and it's possible with the South Node going through the fourth house, that either of those could be true, possibly, because Jupiter rules your spouse, and that's also opposite the stellium. And it's a possibility that some of you are going to be looking at spousal separation, divorce agreement, settlements, but a new beginning says, stay true, take aim, take a sacred devotion towards separating money with another. Don't be greedy, maybe. Be the Star Maiden here. There's a higher principle trying to operate in your chunky money house. Yet you have the magic and the flow and the ease over here. Before we go ahead and talk about all of that, because we are seeing some money stories unfold here. Also, remember the eighth house is spiritual liberation from the egoic identity. It's also the part of the chart that represents magic and mystery and spiritual awakening and, stuff to do with the psychic faculties. And there may be a major change or breakthrough or new beginning in your abilities, in your psychic abilities, in your intuitive abilities, in your occult mystery abilities, tarot, numerology, astrology. So keep that in mind. The energy, too, is interesting when you think about Uranus is a wealth star as well on Algol here. The planet is on Algol. And there is something going on here that could be either a massive spiritual awakening that you wish to bring to the public attention and structure something new, Saturn and Neptune in your 10th house of the public attention for your career. Or you could be looking at this as some kind of financial breakthrough connected to your career, connected to money that you make from far off lands, digital revenue, foreign lands, borderless income, companies from different countries than the one you live in, or just the word international revenue. So how that could look, I don't know. International wealth, I don't know. But the moon wants to show you something new. And so I want you to think about this unfolding not in a day, not in a week, but over the course of 6 months. Yet, it's likely that in the time of the moon on January 18th, at about maybe 2 to 3 weeks before at least the next new moon, you're going to likely know what the heck this is about. It's not going to be a mystery. Look for information. Look for, I don't know, Mercury could be the bank, the mortgage, the loan, the accountant, and positive new beginnings in your money story here. And finally, the last thing I want to say about this for you guys is that because Saturn is saying discipline and hard work in your 10th house of career, starting on 2023, let's be real, has paid off. You hit a level, hopefully, of mastery, authority, and new levels of responsibility. And Neptune is saying, and dreams come true, and worldly success. And this is finishing up. These planets are moving into another house, but the moon is activating the tail end of a longer story and kind of giving you a last minute, what's the word, encore performance, applause, something to celebrate in your career, reputation, money, space. Okay. I don't know how it looks yet. You have to live through it. We're not to January 18th yet, add a couple of weeks after. Let's see how it unfolds. What card do I have for you? Coming from the Tarot of the Divine by Yoshitani. Okay. Well, I got the King of Wands, and the King of Wands is often very entrepreneurial. Okay. Very much in charge of his world, but he works from spirit. He's operating from spirit energy, from fire energy. Now, it's sometimes not literal. A King of Wands might step into your world, a fire spirited, entrepreneurial, business oriented man who's in touch with like the fire within, the creative and the spiritual, intuitive like the kind of spark of the divine. It steps into the story and really supports this ambitious career up level that you can see happening right here. And with all that Aquarius stellium on the way, it's also very good for publishing and book publishing and podcasting success as well. All righty, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign first in a lifetime kind of illumination. There is a real beginning here, a new beginning in your long-term committed love and marriage house. So anytime we have a new start and we're single, it can mean a new relationship wants to show up. And it will show up if it's going to show up. It can take how long for it to show up? Well, it's a new moon. So it can be like, hey, 2 to 3 weeks after the moon, I'm seeing something percolating. New love is coming my way. And it also could mean that in a relationship you're in, there's a fresh start. However, we have some concerns as well. Anytime Mars is in the 7th house of committed long-term love, it often can either indicate some conflict going on in the relationship or separation. And the separation could just be your partner's traveling, right? It doesn't have to be like we're ending the relationship, but you might find between the conflict and separation energies, and Mars is invisible, a little passive aggressive there might be some tension in any long-term relationships that are in your life around the time of the January 18th moon. And the communication could be very Martian, like, conversations that are hushed and angry between you and a significant other is a possibility. Unfortunately, over secrets to do with love, betrayal, and infidelity. Sorry, that's a Pluto Venus in your 8th house. If you're looking for a new relationship, I wouldn't worry because that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about you guys in one already. All right. If you're looking for a new relationship, it could bake in a new relationship from somebody from a distant shore or far off land showing up in your life in the course of the up to 6 months of follow-up. So a new beginning here, this new moon. And that's because of Saturn, Lord of the Moon, in your 9th house. And in that case, you'd be looking for soulmate, destined, fated relationships. You might be traveling. They may come from a different country. They might be in your own country, but have a different religion, language, skin color, like acting like the foreigner to your own culture. Well, there's surprises if you're looking for love because it comes like a bolt out of the blue, especially because Uranus could say new love comes through a friend, an elder sibling, or somebody who just like dumps you into the introduction mode. Here, meet so-and-so. Mars does rule the house of romantic love and sexual romantic attraction as well. And there might be a bit of that sizzling up for you in a new or even existing relationship. Could be a little sizzle there. I will say this, and Jupiter's divinely protecting you right now, so hang in there for whatever is about to happen. But Mars is going to eventually, kind of, want you to look at what parts of a relationship you might be in aren't serving you right now. And that can include client and customer relationships. If you are working with any kind of, the 7th house is 10th from the 10th. So any work that you do that involves meeting the customer, the client, the audience, the fans, the public to your 10th house, Mars would pare it away, prune the tree, cut away something, either all of it, like I'm not seeing those clients anymore, like the whole kit and caboodle, or you might be just saying, okay, I'm not going to see those kinds of clients anymore. And the Star Maiden here can also bring you some public appeal with the public and the marketplace too. That's kind of nice. But Mars is like, let's trim the rose bush. Let's cut the dead wood off the tree. What attention with others is no longer serving you. And that includes a spouse. So if a spouse is draining your energy, Mars here, you might be beginning to say, let's cut away here. What isn't working in this relationship? Okay. And I don't like the betrayal secrets house being so activated. So there could be some disclosures, whistleblowers, information, even coming from a friend, or an elder sibling. Who knows? It could like destabilize a relationship that isn't meant to stay stable. Finally, 9th house, if you want to travel to far off lands and shores, unexpected, exciting, and positive travel can emerge with a sibling one older or in connection with a sibling one younger, and also in connection with a spouse. Okay. So some unexpected travel could come off of this moon. And if that happens, let me know in the comments where you guys are going to. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. Hey, Leo. It is a story where you're looking at a once in a lifetime fresh start, new beginning in your health and work, rental properties, debts, and pets. Those are the themes of the sixth house. You want to think about a reset of something new. You're not going to think it happens on the day of the moon on the 18th, but with Mercury there, information or news could come through about a pet, about a rental property opportunity, about a debt, mortgage, credit cards, debts, about a health matter, and about a job matter or work matter. So look for some information or news there. And what I like about it, I do like a lot about it, is you do see this beautiful triangle opening up and surprise, shock, Uranus says from the 10th house of career and reputation. This is an Artha house and an Artha house. It looks to me like a work opportunity is emerging that surprises you. You weren't expecting it. It wasn't something you necessarily anticipated as a potential to bring you more money. You could get a sign-on bonus, a severance package, some kind of upfront money off of this. You could get some kind of chunk of money here. This is exciting. If it has anything to do with health challenges, and you could get a massive, surprising insurance payout, for the thing you need for your health. The direction of, the triangle, like pointing at your 8th house of chunky money here, there is definitely some possibilities of some kind of bonus money coming to you, like a commission check or something, or some kind of reward, one-time reward for the work you do in this world. So rather than a salary check payment, it's a sudden splash of money. If you are looking at securing a rental property, Mars is the god of your 4th house in the house of tenancies and leases. And this is certainly something that gives you an opportunity to lease a new home, to be able to do that, or as a homeowner or landowner to lease a property out effectively in exciting, surprising ways. But it almost feels like if you're going to lease a new home, some of you are doing that because it is connected to work environment shifts. And finally, pets belong to the 6th house. It's not the worst chart I've seen regarding things with pets, right? Because it is a beautiful trine in the sky, but it does trine the house of death. Although I'm just going to say everybody dies sometime. And so there's a possibility that one of your animals could be coming into the close of life, the end of life here. And with Saturn's involvement, it usually means an elder animal. All right. So if you are preparing for the idea that your elder animal pet might be getting to the age where things are going to go downhill. This moon, not just like on the 18th, but I want you to add 2 to 3 weeks after, or even 6 months for the long story. And it could be time to get ready to say your goodbyes. Okay. This would be a pet that you're devoted to, sacred devotion, like you're familiar, you have a real strong connection to that animal. And Diana, the huntress, is known for her hunting dogs. Okay. So my specifically connected dogs, but not necessarily. She also had a bird of prey on her shoulder. So animals that serve and help us, the servants, this is the house of servants. Your animals are your servants, right? Like the cats killed the mice in the barn and the dogs herd the sheep. So an animal servant may be leaving. And if you want to quit a job under this, you can do that. Or if a job's going to quit you and surprise you, that can happen too. But it's all going to work out financially. So there's your severance package. Now we're going to go ahead and draw a card for Leo from this Divine Tarot of the Divine. And you have to make some decisions. It's a 2 of Swords. And these decisions need to be made because you're stuck. You're between a rock and a hard place. You're not sure. Something's got to change in your work. Someone's got to change in your health. This is really also, I didn't mention it, a really opportune story for changing your dietary habits, okay, in order to improve your health. But you have to make some decisions because the 2 of Swords can indicate, a decisive moment is ahead. And you can move yourself out of this sort of paralysis this sense of you don't know which way to go. You'll be making major decisions about work and health and career and chunky money as you go through this lunation. Now we're moving on to the next sign, and that is you, Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. So if you are a earthy Virgo, just like Taurus, you like this moon because it's Capricorn, it's earth, it flows back at you. So it trines you. So, Taurus and Virgo and Caps love the lunation. It's good for you guys. And it's a once in a lifetime, fresh start, new beginning. It's not quite like anything you've ever seen before. And that's beautiful because you are going to be making some changes in your either romantic love life, in your entrepreneur, creative, spirited, a fifth house where the muse is there, including hobbies. And you're going to make some major changes in your relationship to your children that you may already have. And this fifth house is also where you find joy and play and pleasure. Now, having Mars here anyway, just exalted every 2 years, gets you more interested in doing fun things that are pleasurable with great ambition and intensity. But it's also very much a real activator of more romantic, sizzling bedroom activity, more passion, more ardor in your romantic life. And it literally is also really good for working hard at hobbies, working hard with passion, discipline, and perseverance at entrepreneurial or creative directions in your life. And this stellium is with Mercury, Mars, very commercial success can happen here, especially if you're communicating, writing, marketing, selling something. That's a really great stellium energy for the kinds of entrepreneurial businesses to take off, or you could start one under this. The new beginning could also be a new beginning regarding romance if you're single, or if you're wanting to make children, that too, any new moon here. But Diana is the huntress who's celibate, single, the Star Maiden, and then you've got the Vestal Flame, Hestia. She's single and celibate. It's the opposite, really, archetypally, of starting a family. So you or your partner thinking of that under this moon and the 6 months that follow, it would not be auspicious. But I've got a warning flag for you guys, because terminating by choice a conception would be Mars here, and you also have Uranus in a place of connection to the field of pregnancy. So if you do not want you or your partner to make a baby and it would be inconvenient, you need to be very careful, because this triangle points right at the house of long-term committed partnerships. And in this case, Mars might be the choosing factor. I don't know if you know that Mars decides, right? So major choices might be needing to be made around conception and parenting at this time. Your children might be making major changes in their life. Some of them may be leaving the home. Some of them might be actually going off to school, changing countries, getting married, announcing that to you. This is stuff your children can show up with during this cycle of this new beginning and new moon. And if you are an entrepreneur and you want to start something creative or artistic or entrepreneurial, you can do that very well under the sky and reach an audience in a steadfast way and have some surprising international success. However, you need to have a sacred devotion to the creative and entrepreneurial direction. It can't just be to make money. You have to feel like a dedication and a devotion, because it's going to be work and you'll work hard. But to conceive entrepreneurial businesses off this new moon, and I would give yourself the new moon at a month, is an auspicious new beginning for you. So go for it. Let's draw a card and see what we get for Virgo. I might need food because now I'm having a hunger attack. The Four of Wands. So that's a beautiful card. Unfortunately, that can also be about children. It's a couple on the wedding bow and the two children below. It's steadfast, happy. It's happy family. But it's a family. It's not a couple. So again, conception is an issue. If you don't want to have children, be careful. Otherwise, you and your significant other, your partner, whoever that is, might be consolidating a new level of enjoyment and maybe planning for a wedding, whether it's a private ceremony or a public one. This could bring that story to light for you guys, especially because Mercury rules your 10th house. And he's embedded in the 5th, which is like a proposal or a wedding plan. I think a lot of you might look at that as something exciting as well. And if you're just dating someone, then, oh my God, you might be surprised. But if you're in a relationship already, you might also be surprised or happy or delighted to share. Or, the surprise is Uranus to find out there's a wedding proposal or a wedding plan coming along the way. All right. Good for romantic travel as well, to distant shores and far off lands with a partner in your relationship. That would be a very good thing for this guy coming off this new moon. Can I go on without food? Probably not. I'm just going to grab an apple and I'll be right back. Why an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I've been pushing off what I thought was that flu yesterday and today that so many people have. I sound like I'm always pushing something off. I know. I'm going to do a detox soon. I'm going to completely cleanse and do the AIP protocol and start my health regime all over again. I know people usually do it in January. I think I'm waiting for the Capricorn new moon. Excuses. Let me grab the apple. I'll be right back. Okay, let's get rolling and talk about the next sign. The next sign after Virgo is always Libra. That's the order of the zodiac. Oh my God, guys. All right, let's go. Let's talk about you guys, Libras. There we have you. Now, let's see. Moving on to Libra. Sometimes I'm in a live premiere chat. Some people are saying, what sign are we on? You just look to the left. Like this is the symbol of the sign on the eastern horizon. That's the sign that we're on. It's like at the 9 a.m. position. Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign. It is a beautiful once in a lifetime. Look at the beautiful triangle that forms with a new moon in the 4th house of home, property, land, and real estate. Domicile, private life. For sure, new beginnings. Of course, you get a new moon here every year. People don't move their homes every year. There's something fresh starting in the home, but you can also have a fresh start in a new home. Both are true. Any new beginnings in the 4th house can also stimulate new beginnings in your career because it looks like career space opposite with Jupiter up there. You're revising, rethinking, and deepening your bounty. But March 11th, Jupiter goes direct through to the end of June. And hey, new career stuff will take off. But right now, new beginnings in the home can also stimulate new directions in your career. New beginnings in the home, fresh starts in the home, or your home is moving. Now, in this case, a move is likely, more so than a normal new moon, because you have a Saturn in the house of rentals. So you could be a landlord and rent a property out. You could be a tenant and want to rent a property. And it will be destined, fated. It will be a dream home rental property. So for those of you who want to move, this is ideal. The moon on January 18th unfolds, of course, over 6 months, and there's a window of relocation. Look for evidence that this is true, of course, closer to the first month afterward. Mercury would be signing contracts. Mars would be taking action and moving forward. Even if you are finding a new home, I don't know, Mars isn't visible till March, so you might not actually relocate until March, but this might be the movement towards finding or signing or leasing or finding a new property. If you have any inclination to buy or sell property, refinance property, deal with mortgages and banks, I like that. Uranus is on a well star in the banking mortgaging house. There is something exciting about that, connected to land, property, and real estate. Maybe you get an unexpected real estate property offer on a property. Maybe you have an unexpectedly interesting information from your bank, your mortgage company, or whatever, with some incredible offer, deeply discounted, but it looks like a positive for financial offers, banking, home property, land, and real estate matters. If you want to look at Saturn in the 6th house as well, it's a work house. And so there might be some unexpected changes of home connected to work, more money, some chunks of money, some big payouts, a sign-on package, a severance package. Good for anyone whose work involves anything to do with royalty income, ad income, and some unexpected financial surges of that kind of chunky money in your sky. With the energy of Saturn in the 6th house, which also is about pets, and Mars is decisions and actions, and there's devotion, and there's Mercury to purchase or sell. You guys might be looking at a sale of a home, but also a purchase of a pet. I doubt it's a sale of a pet unless you're a breeder, but pet purchases, yes. Pets, procuring a pet, yes. Coming off of the moon. It could be a rescue. Saturn here could indicate a rescue animal. So rather than a puppy or a kitten. And also there's an unexpected excitement or surprise. Like it wasn't anticipated. Like all of a sudden there's an opportunity for a pet. You weren't planning it. You're excited. This is really making you feel good. I mean, there's a huntress, Diana. She has dogs, right? So possibly it's very literal that you're going to get an opportunity that you didn't expect to possess a dog. And Mars is the Lord of possessions, and you possess a dog. You can also possess a car. This is the kind of chart that says get a refi or buy a car or sell a car or major changes with vehicles as well. And banking and financing for that vehicle as well. But exciting, unexpected, positive luck around those things: pets, cars, rentals, tenancy, properties, and more. Anything you're doing in the home, right? You need to do it with a sacred duty and devotion. And the sun is sort of a similar archetype. It's a career planet in the 4th house. If you do want to do anything in the home that's connected to your job, your office, your work, you got to be more doing it from a place of dedication and devotion rather than being forced to do it. You know what I mean? The spirit has to be right. And the sun is the ruler of your career gain. So the way you operate in your home, the things you do in your home are to create greater prosperity and greater gains in your career. And the new moon gives you fresh starts to do that in new ways. And maybe align your work with more stamina, more perseverance, more discipline, and more willpower, especially if any of that work involves working from home. All right. And now we're going to draw a card for Libra. And I've got the Ace of Coins. It's the same card we got for the Aries, and that's a new prosperity, fresh start, beginning. Certainly, Uranus on a well start in a money house, chunky money house, can bring you some new beginnings financially. And we have the work house activated with Jupiter in your career house. So yeah, you could definitely get some new opportunities for career stuff here. Likely not going fully forward until after March 11th when Jupiter is direct, but the seeds of new beginning is in career. And every new moon can take up to 6 months to unfold. So be patient. All right, Scorpio, once in a lifetime, first in a lifetime. How excited are you? This is exciting to me because you're going to be either traveling or changing your location, neighborhood wise. Okay. Or writing, selling, marketing, teaching, or learning. All of those are third house stories, and there's a new beginning. You want to be will-powered up, driven and passionate, hardworking and disciplined. You want to have a sacred devotion, and you want to help better humanity. When I talk about writing, I mean writing. When I talk about communicating, yes. When I talk about marketing, selling, learning, and teaching, sure. All of those things are very fresh starts and new beginnings. Now, we learn a skill-based education often in the third house, like how to change a tire, how to play a guitar, how to, the how-tos, right? So some of you may see this opening as an opportunity to teach a how-to or to learn a how-to type of education. And I think that the door, if it does open, it's really asking you to ask if, well, Hestia here could be a cooking class, really, okay? Hestia, the cooking class. But if it's not the Hestia, the cooking class, it's more like a door that wants to open up that's going to ask you to be devoted to whatever this opportunity is, especially if it has to do with learning. And Mars likes to move and change and cut and sever. And this is the house of your local environment, the shops and restaurants in your town or close to your home and places you go on the daily. And there may be a change of routines here, especially if you want to go to the gym or new workout routines. Mars exalted for stamina and discipline and perseverance and working out. But if you're somebody who's an entrepreneur or has a hobby or creative path, Saturn is telling Mars to work really hard at the thing that you're skilled at, but that you also have a talent for. And especially if that involves the online world, because in a modern day, the virtual online world is the media of the third house. And this could be you just really driving passionately, and the Star Maiden can bring you stardom. You could get like a high note here of some success off this moon, some celebrity in the online world or micro celebrity for your creative, artistic, and even entrepreneurial projects in the digital realm and the online world, and all the platforms that have things like that, especially TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, because Neptune tends to really function best in the videography platforms, and he is in a trine. The open magical opportunity doors of shock, awe, and surprise could also come through pregnancy and fertility narratives, where a significant other and you are suddenly discovering that you're blessed with a destined fertility moment. That can happen with Jupiter in the 9th house right now. And he's retrograde, because that would kind of be like you didn't even know you were pregnant. You just thought you and your partner was like, hey, honey, you look a little chubby, or did you miss a period or whatever? I haven't seen any tampons around. I bet you that's a flag word on YouTube. And then it's also possible something exciting is happening for one of your children. Okay, that they're going to have an exciting new romance or new event or some exciting new location to live in their life. For you guys, if you want to change your home, it might be a rental property, right? Mars is a ruler of the 6th house. So you might be looking at changing a location, changing your neighborhood, but that might also mean it's a property you're not necessarily wanting to purchase, but rather to rent, and take that in stride as well. Mars also rules the house of pets. Possible major decisions to purchase a pet from the local pet store, the local breeder down the street, bringing in some spark of fun and love and pleasure into your life. That's another story for some of you as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at especially with Diana here. Those would be dogs, right? Or birds. Dogs or birds and pets. Mm-hmm. The Queen of Swords, the second card to get discernment. Mars cuts, ends, and severs. He slices. He decides. You choose A or B. You can't do, left or right. Which road are you going to take? So there is a quality of discerning here about what you want to do. If you're going to change your neighborhood, you're going to rent a property, you're going to get a pet. And the surprising excitement of the Uranus element in the seventh house means surprises are coming. Like you can go viral in the online world with this guy and get richer, but you can also have unexpected surprises around romance, love, pregnancy, and fertility. If you're going to meet somebody romantically, probably pretty close to home with Venus in the fourth house. She's the ruler of your long-term committed love and exaltation of your romance. Single Scorpios look no further than taking out your garbage or taking a stroll down the street to go to the corner store and buy your lottery ticket, that kind of thing. All right. You could even maybe win some money off of this. It's a nice chart for some unexpected windfalls connected to gambling, speculation, and lotteries. That's your moon. Let's go ahead and change the sign up. Use discernment in your decision-making power. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Oh, my elbow. Once in a lifetime, mini trine, new moon in Capricorn at 28 degrees of your second house of money. This is the pocketbook wallet savings. In Vedic astrology, it's your family that you grew up with. It's also the second house of your voice, vocation, and calling, your face, your throat, and your dietary habits, because what goes in your nose and your mouth, the face, is your second house. So new beginnings and dietary habits and styles quite commonly happen here. Mars likes to cut and sever. It's like a food elimination diet. Get rid of what's not good for you. That includes addictions. Mars rules your house of self-undoing. So it's very much a detox, a cleanse, a dietary cleanse or cleanup that January 19th would try his best to give you. Also giving you changes in the way you make money. You might spend a bit more than you normally do. That's okay. But, you also could have changes in your earnings connected to job and work. South Node is letting go of one professional direction. And Uranus gives you sudden, exciting, surprising professional job opportunities connected to money in your second house. And Mercury will be the news. So, you get the call back for the audition. You get the second interview, you get the call that you got the job that you interviewed before the new moon. So there's this kind of information about getting news or information about money and job and career stuff here. At the same time, you can see that the North Node, Saturn, and of course, Neptune are making the mini trine in your fourth house. Because we see house and property and land, and with Jupiter in your eighth, there are some of you who have opportunities to buy or sell real estate, to inherit money under the sky, and as well to change your home connected to traveling to, not traveling, but to renting a property. With Saturn in the bottom of the sky and Jupiter in your eighth house, if you have an eldering out family member, like a great grandpa or great elderly grandparent, or even a very elderly parent, and with sun representing the masculine, probably male, there may be some information coming to you off this new moon about some money that can come to you in a chunk that you would kind of call an inheritance, of some kind, a bequeathment of some kind. You're also a sign that connects to the word pets. So you could have an unexpected opportunity to have a brand new soulmate destined animal living with you. And all we see over here is the purchase power, the money it takes to buy the animal or whatever that could be, activating, because family of origin is here. You grew up with a family, parents and siblings or something like that. And Mars is in the second house, can be kind of a bit of a death omen placement. I'm just going to say it can indicate, again, a passing away of a family member, probably an elder. And this moon might be ringing the bell, letting you know, okay, that's going to happen. Everything about having Uranus here, though, when it comes to work and career, job and money, maybe even close to home or a chance to work at a job in your home, is going to happen quickly and swiftly and all like a lightning bolt strike very quickly. And that's also the Eight of Wands. Things are moving fast. I drew the Eight of Wands. It's passion. It's forward momentum. We're talking now about career. We're talking about work. We're talking about money and work and career. Okay. Some of you might get an opportunity to work in a foreign country, right? Or from someone in a foreign country or a company from a foreign country under this kind of a sky as well. I do want to encourage you not to do dental work yet if you can hold off. Quite often Mars moving through the second house is like facial rejuvenation, lasers, nose job, veneers on your teeth, whatever, or just dental work. Problem here is that we got invisibility. All right. Venus, the goddess of beauty, is invisible. Mars, the god of surgery, is invisible. Venus is visible mid-February onwards, and Mars is visible like mid-March and onwards. So even though Mars looks like he might want to slice through something on your face, I would be kind of cautious about, if you don't have to do this right now, don't do it. Delay until we see Mars again in the sky. Just a thought. I wouldn't take it as seriously as all that, but it could be true. Wait a bit. To make the plans for the facial stuff, wait for the actual surgery or injectables or dermabrasion or lasers. All Mars in the second house. All right, Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, not too shabby because you're starting over. You have a new moon every year. You start something new in your identity field as a rising, in your career and purpose. You know, career and purpose matters. If we're talking about your career, your sun, and your moon, when you start in your home life and where you live. Now, of course, every time this happens, people aren't changing their home because there's a new moon where your natal moon is in Capricorn. But there's definitely an archetype of a new beginning and a reset button in your Capricorn sky. And your Capricorn is, very importantly, you, ruled by Saturn, who happens to be in the third house. Third house is local neighborhood environment. Therefore, there is probably a change of local environment that could occur here. Saturn has been in your third house of local environment since 2023. And so certainly Cap Moon and Cap Rising especially could have a change of home, change of a local environment, a new neighborhood, a new city, a new town is a possibility. With the North Node, it can also be more of a foreign element to where you're moving. We'll see if you're going to move at all. And Uranus is the shock, the surprise, and the excitement. He's on a wealth star. He's in the house of winning money. And with Jupiter in the house of your marriage partnership, it can also indicate some luck coming through your life from a marriage partner, and it can look like windfalls or winning money. Mars rules your windfalls house. Uranus is in your house of gambling, casinos, and lottery wins. And it's a possibility that we're looking at that kind of sky here. The new moon is on January 18th, but it can unfold over 2 to 3 weeks. So not all at once. Okay. But it could bring you into some unexpected financial windfall as well. Now, some of you just might be wanting to travel. It can involve traveling with a sibling, 1 younger, 2 younger. It can involve just wanting to go on a trip somewhere. It could even open up opportunities for travel with a significant relationship partner. So I'm seeing there's travel here for you guys. You know, the new moon is a travel moon in the sky, and it starts off on the, 18th of the month. And you can feel that travel energy radiating outward up to 2 or 3 weeks afterwards. And you might find yourself on the road, so to speak. The third house can be like shorter distance travel to and fro here and there. The moon has also got a Star Maiden embedded in it, and also a Vestal tending hearth flame goddess. And there is something, Diana, hit the mark with your bow and arrow, hunting dogs at your side. Know what you want to aim for in life. The new moon is saying aim for the place you want to live, the career you want to have, the relationship you want to be in, because Diana and the moon are looking at the angles of the chart 4, 7, 10. But also the Vestal flame sometimes is very simply literal. Do you want to have a new home fire, a new hearth fire? That can be a new home with a new stove. It could be a new home with a new fireplace. The Vestal flame is like the fireplace. Okay. There's a Vestal fireplace in the house of your story. Now, it could be something like, a Capricorn guy who's building a fireplace right now. So how literal can the sky be, right? But it can be something like, where do you want to tend a sacred flame within your home? Do you want to create a little meditation room? Do you want to update the kitchen? Do you want to start tending the fire of the stew pot and making better food at home. I mean, these kinds of things start to rise up under this kind of new moon and new beginning. Where do you want to be a star maiden that helps better humanity with a sacred duty and devotion, yet you're focused and you're determined and you're independent like the huntress? These are things that Capricorns are going to be feeling off of this new moon. And it's an interesting moon as well because you've had a sense of Saturn and the North Node since January of 2025 in your third house, where you have been feeling a destined need for change in third house matters, which often looks like the fourth house where we live. But it's not so much changing your home to like the home next door, but looking for a new locale, a new city, a new region, a new neighborhood in which to reside. Chironic wound in your fourth house ever since 2019. You haven't felt like you belong in any place that you've lived in, or you feel wounded in the home itself. Somehow, some way, it's not a fulfilling place for you. The home becomes a place of woundedness. Now, I've got the card, the Three of Cups for you, and the Three of Cups is celebration. Certainly, I'd be celebrating if I won a lottery ticket. So there is that. That's a card of the three graces, the Three Cups, holding three women holding the cups up, celebrating. Certainly, I can see that. You might be celebrating some financial gain that comes as almost like a windfall. I'll go with that for you. You could also have an unexpected financial windfall from a sibling under the sky, especially a sibling 3 younger, 3 older, or just a sibling in general. Okay. So there's that other story going on. A sibling could benefit you to the point that even a sibling just 1 older than you can be of great financial benefit to you at this time. Let's move into the next sign and see what we get in this once in a lifetime new moon in the sign of Capricorn. Hey, Aquarius, I'm one of you. Here we have it. Sun, I'm a sun and moon. I'm a rising. So, and you can listen for sun and moon and rising. We're Saturn ruled. The moon is Saturn's territory. Saturn rules Capricorn and Aquarius in the ancient world. And the new moon is in a house of spiritual liberation. Okay. Self-undoing, bad habits, addictions, foreign lands and distant shores, and even the revenue you make from those lands. So we get a new fresh start, a new beginning. Now, technically, often when Mars is here, he wants to cut and end and sever anything that you do that is bad for you. It can be an addiction, physically, a substance use disorder. It could be anything to do with, just self-sabotaging stuff that you need to prune out of the way and cut and sever out of your life. And because Saturn is in the house of what you ingest through your mouth and nose, this is definitely a cleansing, clearing, detoxing. That's why I'm going to go hardcore on my cleansing away from foods that aggravate me as an autoimmune disposed person, as well as alcohol, wine. So you'll see me going off of this January 18th moon really clean, all really fast, really sudden. But the other thing about it, you could also do with this is you could come up with new ways to make money. Okay. That's your second house that invites in more prosperity, but you're focused, you're determined, you're taking aim. You want a better humanity. It brings in a little starlight, star element. You want to tend to sacred duty because, of course, you've got the Vestal flame. And so you're going to notice that there might be some new ideas or information that can come to you, especially in meditations or dreams or quiet alone time that can percolate a shocking aha moment where you suddenly have a divine download, a clarity, a new understanding of a new direction in your career, gains, money, earning story. This is especially effective if you want to be a digital nomad, live abroad, work for a foreign company, or you generate income and revenue internationally without worry for borders, so you're online and making money that way. Because Uranus has been in transit in your fourth house since 2018, I know a lot of us have moved quite a bit, and that's exhausting. But with Jupiter in the house of rentals, Uranus in the fourth house, this could also indicate a move. I know. And you may not expect it. It may be unexpected. It may involve distant shores and far off lands. And yet at the same time, it may also be very financially lucrative as well for some reason. It doesn't mean you're moving on January 18th on the moon. It means that maybe in the month that follows, you see a new way to go, a new direction to go. Yet Jupiter does suggest rental property opportunities rather than purchase or sale of property. So there's a thought that I have for you guys there. Jupiter would bring you a luscious, bigger, more expansive, bigger home. Okay. He would go for luxury and more room for you, etc. And Uranus would bring you the surprise that here's this opportunity. Your alone time, your sleeping time, your downtime, your contemplating time is extremely valuable under the sky, because whatever you do in stillness and quietude and contemplation can be extremely rewarding in the pocketbook, in the wallet. You've been working hard for 3 years with Saturn in your second house, even harder since 2025 as a north node of worldly success made you very eager to grasp more money. But this is different. This is a breakthrough. This is aha moments. This is Eureka. Okay. You could even have karmic and childhood wound breakthroughs that will help you blast out of addictions, bad food styles, money problems, etc. So there's like a really big change coming here. Let's get a card for you from the Tarot of the Divine and see what we have. Okay. I'm getting my hair cut, by the way. It's a death card. You can't ask for anything more intense. The death card, like death and rebirth. It is death and rebirth of something that you might not want to hold on to anymore, especially an addiction, self-undoing, bad habit, or a pattern. A very few of you could be seeing a death and rebirth of someone in your family system, not rebirth, but passing. I have to give you that. We're back to the word elder. And but every rebirth, every death has a rebirth. So every death comes into a rejuvenation and regeneration. Something's ending as well as something is going to be born again. Don't forget, Mars does cut, sever, and end stuff. And if it's not for you, you won't get to keep it. And I like Mars sometimes in the 12th house is a bit of a like a hidden enemy that's really working on your behalf. So when something shuts down and you didn't expect it, or a door closes that you didn't think was going to close, and you're looking in the aftermath of the 2 to 3 weeks at the moon at the door that just slammed shut in your face, that could look like the story, kind of a bit of blindsided by it. It's exactly what you're supposed to be going through, because ultimately increases your financial success, whatever is ending here. And Mars is the ruler of your career space. So it can be definitely some changes in your professional direction. Oh, sorry, Pisces. Got to go by minutes. Best and always best, never last, never least. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. I got to do a merch drop, and I'll have a t-shirt that says Pisces, never last, never least, best and always best. Okay. So you're very embedded in this new beginning, this once in a lifetime lunation. You are embedded in it. Why? Because you have been Saturnized, more duty, more responsibility, more melancholy, more reflection, more nostalgia, more heaviness, more Saturn in your sign, more realistic, sober-mindedness since 2023. And now it's coming to a close this spring. And before it does, Saturn in your sign is flowing back at this stellium of Capricorn new moon energy in the 11th house of wishes, goals, and dreams for your life, career gains financially and success in your career, and the house of a sibling one older or allies, friends, and benefactors. Now, Mars is exalted here. He's in top form. And you have a new beginning and a fresh start with a Star Maiden. There's a way in which you could become quite celebrity or really popular and get a lot of appeal from groups of people for something you're doing in the professional direction. And you also have a devotional flame to dedicate yourself to the work. And yet Mars can also just say brings a change of direction, and that you'll notice what that change of direction could be more clearly as Mars moves forward, okay, trundles on into visibility in March. But the seeds of a new direction change in the work look very much possible here. You could notice that you are being guided by Jupiter in Cancer, exalted in the 5th house. This is a really great transit for your entrepreneur success, and it's peripherally involved in this new moon. It's watching the moon and it's witnessing the mini trine. So the Lord of your sign might say, start a new entrepreneurial business, start a family, get married. And that's the story on the backside of it. of the moon. But this new moon could definitely be a new beginning in a long-range goal or plan you have for your life, especially regarding career success and prosperity. And because there's an unexpected surprise with Uranus in the third house, it can also be an unexpected opportunity for professional advancement through writing and publishing. Okay, book publishing, writing, podcasting, social media, networking, and opportunities. You could be invited on a show. You could have news that you're going to be, some big show like Next Level Soul Podcast or Amelia Ortez or somebody like that. I like these guys, wants you on the show, or you're going to promote something in the public eye, something you're dedicated to, and you're going to act like a star. That's very Piscean under the sky, being invited to somebody's show, right? But the surprise and the shock is you didn't see it coming, but you've got the realistic anchor and the dream come true vibe. So you're holding space for this unexpected, exciting opportunity to emerge. It's really good for unexpected travel opportunities connected to siblings in general. It's really great for some of you could be looking at some shifts in your neighborhood, but it's not as likely as the other things I've mentioned, like a change of home. I don't see that as much. I like the idea that with Uranus here in your third house, you're sort of like what you do in the communications realm, teaching, learning, speaking, maybe writing, especially. That's going to have a bit of a viral energy. If any of you are looking for viral success in the online world, something that you put out there, especially with Neptune, it says you've been working hard, you've been using your imagination or vision, your visionary powers, maybe using platforms that Neptune likes that have videography on them. There can be a nice breakthrough or break free on this moon. Okay, we should call it that. So a break, once in a lifetime break free moon. And it has a lot to do in the 11th house with the wish fulfillment, like fairy godfather lives up there. Someone's going to pull out a wish fulfillment storyline. What have you wished to see happen? If you are thinking of being, well, you don't think about it, it's not your choice, a grandparent, right? But this has grandparent all over it. So suddenly you discover, surprise, you're going to become a grandparent. And maybe it was being kept from your knowledge, or your kids didn't know yet, or they're holding back for the first trimester. But because there's also an element of that, if you're going to be a grandparent, this was a conception that was already rolling out before you found out about it, right? It's not the first pregnancy test before you hear about it, but there is that. Let's draw a card for you. Oh, did I forget a card for Aquarius? Oh, Aquarius. Well, I'll add one now. I don't remember if I drew a card for us. So sorry, Aquarius card, we are going to get strength. Oh no, we had the death card. Okay, but we can take the strength card too. Lord, give me strength. All right, next, Pisces. Your card draw to go with this new moon is the 10 of Cups. Family, joy, wish fulfillment, happiness. Yeah. Are you having the kid? Are your kids having the kids? But just an all over feeling of fulfillment as some of the things that you are experiencing here, the happy couple and the 10 of Cups, is quite the emotional satisfaction card coming your way. Certainly like you for having some also viral hits on the internet or making unexpected financial gains in your career, especially if you work online, entrepreneurially, or as an independent contractor or business person. All right. I do think that's all I've got for you today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. It's getting pretty dark here in Vancouver, Canada. Oh, my goodness. And so hang in there, guys. This is Wednesday, January the 7th. It's a Wednesday, and the video will be delivered to your YouTube land on Sunday. But my Patreon community will get this tomorrow after my sister timestamps it. So you would get this without ads and before the public if you want to join Patreon. And I teach classes and I do a bunch of other stuff over there. And you can hit the members only button here because I do live streams with members only. And I also put teaching content there that nowhere else do I put it, as well as I talk about more controversial topics. I did the Erika Kirk asteroid hunting video recently. People really enjoyed that. Have a great Capricorn lunation. Bye.